Let's go to, it's time to go to school, public relations style. And one of the things I've learned in my 20 plus years in broadcasting is that it's all about public relations. I don't care if you're running for president, if you're running for dog catcher, if you're caught in a sex scandal, if you were caught stealing, if you come out with a new product, it's all about public relations. And the Archbishop and the Archdiocese took a major public relations hit last week when video testimony was of him released saying that he did not know when he was working in Minnesota that it was a crime for an adult to have sex with a child. And so that was the story of the week. And on every single news outlet, on every single radio station, everybody was talking about it. It was the clip of the week, right? We talked about it here. We took phone calls here. I talked about it ad nauseum to the point where people were yelling at me like, get off the other subject. So public relations-wise, it was a disaster. Why was it a disaster? Because they played it over and over and over again. And there was nothing from the Archdiocese. So the Archdiocese decided to play this, we're not going to respond. So, since they didn't respond for 24 hours, 36 hours, the local media hammered them because there was no response. And I'm sure from the Archdiocese's point of view, they're saying, how come, man, this is terrible. They're not telling our story. We're not telling your story because you chose not to tell us your story. So the first response from the Archdiocese was to say that his comments were taken out of context. And of course he knows that it's a crime for an adult to have sex with a child. And so what happens? So for the next 24 to 36 hours, every media outlet in town says, you know those comments he made, and then played the comments. Well, now they're saying that he does know. Well, that didn't gain any traction. So for the next 24 to 36 hours, they decided to blame the media. And so the Archdiocese then decided to keep the story in the newspapers for a third day because now they're blaming the media for telling the story incorrectly, in which I read from the National Catholic Registry, I believe was the name of the publication, which basically said the same thing every other media outlet gave. So now the Archdiocese, in terms of public relations, it's a disaster because you still have this video and this audio of this Archbishop saying these horrendous things, and then them first not denying it, then saying it was taken out of context, then blaming the media. So now comes Thursday, and they're just getting hammered. And blaming the media doesn't work. And so what do? Friday night, they release an audio and a video, and we're going to play the audio here in a second, as well as the video on the TV side. STLtoday.com. You can also watch it at KTRS.com. You can certainly watch on your phone, your tablet, or whatever. They release a statement Friday night. You release a statement Friday night because you want to release something bad, and you want it to get lost, so that you can admit. What are you talking about? We released the fact that we recalled the cars. What are you talking about? We released the fact that we settled with the toxins in the water. What are you talking about? We that's old news. We already did that. Right? A politician gets caught for DUI and he's running for office. We released that already. What's the big deal? What are you trying to cause trouble for? This is asked and answers. We already admitted to that. You release all that stuff on a Friday. Friday, preferably after 5 o'clock, because everyone's home. You've got part-timers and weekenders working in the newsrooms. They're pared down because people aren't watching. People aren't paying attention. They're busy going about their lives. So you hide it in a press release on a Friday afternoon. So the Archbishop releases the statement Friday evening. Now, my first question is why why Friday afternoon when no one's paying attention? Why didn't you release this first? And second of all, if you have nothing to hide, well, I'll back up for a second. So here's the statement that Archbishop Carlson released on Friday. And before you start criticizing me for talking about this again, this is in response to the allegation or to the deposition. So if I don't play this and I don't talk about this, then the Archdiocese blames me for only telling one side of the story and skewing it and being a Catholic hater and so on and so forth. So here is the unedited, released videotape that the Archdiocese released Friday afternoon.
Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, I wish to respond to certain misconceptions stemming from a deposition that I gave in a case regarding alleged sexual abuse by a priest in the Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis nearly 30 years ago. I wish to set the record straight. I understand this situation has caused concern and frustration for many people, and for that I apologize. Abuse of any kind is a serious moral offense and a crime. As always, I encourage anyone who has suffered abuse to bring it to the attention of law enforcement first and foremost, and additionally to the Archdiocese Office of Child and Youth Protection, so that justice and assistance can be rendered. Sexual abuse of children is deplorable and is never to be tolerated. Actions speak louder than words, and my record on this issue speaks for itself. I am committed to the safety of children and have shown compassion for victims. I have promoted and enacted codes of ethical conduct, extensive safe environment programs, and ongoing training for clergy to heighten their awareness of this issue. In the deposition last month, I misunderstood a series of questions that were presented to me. I wish to clarify that situation now. I fully understand and have understood for my entire adult life, as I stated in other sections of this same deposition, sexual abuse is a grave evil and a criminal offense. I reiterate my commitment to protect children from sexual abuse. I support mandatory child abuse reporting laws to which the Archdiocese strictly adheres. I feel truly blessed to be your Archbishop, and I am grateful for your daily prayers and loving support. I renew my commitment to leading the Archdiocese of St. Louis in serving and protecting the entire community so that more people can come to know the love of Christ. Please pray with me that the blessings of the Holy Trinity be with all the people of St. Louis, and especially those who may be suffering and in need.
That was from a late Friday release of a videotape of Archbishop Carlson. Now, let me just say this. Somebody who came down pretty hard on the Archbishop last week, saying that he needs to sit down with somebody. If you've got nothing to hide, and if he thinks actions speak louder than words, and if he truly has compassion for the victims, and if his record is well known and well respected on trying to root out these bad guys from the priesthood, if it's so good and his compassion for the victims is so just and his actions speak louder than words, why release a taped videotape on a Friday afternoon? If somebody was saying something that was untrue about you, wouldn't you want to speak from the highest point possible? Wouldn't you speak? If somebody said something about me that was not true, that was as egregious as that, right? If I was misquoted or misspoke or didn't understand a question or gave an answer in which made me look like that, and the word was getting out that McGraw, you think that at some point having sex with a child wasn't a crime, wild horses could not keep me from holding a news conference, sitting down with every media outlet, and telling them as many times as anybody would listen that is not the case. This is the story. This is the real story, right? Why did it take 5 days for them to release this video statement? And if all of these things are true, why not sit down with one media outlet? Don't even sit down with all of them. Sit down with one of them. Pick one that is sympathetic to your cause and sit down with them. Sit down with a Catholic radio station. Sit down with any reporter, talk show host, television anchor, and have a one-on-one conversation to explain your point of view. What are you afraid of? If this allegation and this misinformation is so egregious and so wrong, and you want people to understand, why are you hiding? Guilty people hide. Innocent people don't hide. You don't hide behind your lawyers. You don't hide behind a video statement in which nobody can. Come down off of your ivory tower and answer questions. And if you have nothing to hide, even if some of the answers are kind of embarrassing, the people will respect your honesty. People do not respect people who are trying to hide from the facts, as good or as bad as they are. It's never the actions. It's always the cover-up. Always. Public relations-wise, the Archbishop failed in every way last week, including that taped video confession or that taped video statement there. When we come back, we'll take phone calls, 314-969-KTRS, 1-888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS. Those are the phone numbers.